Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're starting a gameplay of The 11th Hour, the sequel to The Seventh Guest, which was a full motion video point and click puzzle game. We've got some really interesting music playing on the main menu, so who knows what happens there with the YouTube, but it seems like you're almost getting a full original soundtrack playing in the main menu. So, there's really only a couple things that we need to do before we can just jump into the game. We need to recognize that the Seventh Guest was a rough game. In fact, I barely played it probably less than a year ago, and I don't remember any of the story at all. I had to go back to Wikipedia and find out that I was playing as a character named Ego that I don't know if was ever even named in the game. That may have just been something that people picked up. And it turns out you're observing more than actually interacting with the other 6 guests in the hotel. Well, not hotel, the house that is owned by this toy maker who apparently did a deal with the devil to make toys that possessed / killed a bunch of kids, and the last kid he needed to kill was named Tad, and Tad was like running around the house, and the other guests were incentivized, it seemed, to try and help the evil toy maker in the house. And at the end, after solving several puzzles that really had nothing to do with the story at all and just had no connection at all, it is revealed that you are the spirit of Tad, and that you've just been forced in this purgatory of reliving the events of the night over and over and over again, unable to change things until you win the game and actually are able to change something. So spookiness is the main thing to just take from it. Spookiness and puzzles and full motion video, and a acting crew that comes back. It seems most of them come back, at least for the sequel. The sequel was supposed to come out on Halloween the year later. It was like 1 or 2 years delayed, and it wasn't really received that well. It would almost certainly not even be relevant to talk about the 7th Guest or the 11th Hour if there was half a dozen other horror, puzzle / point and click adventure games out there. I call this more of a puzzle game than a point and click adventure game, at least the 7th Guest was. If there was more of those, it wouldn't be relevant, and if it wasn't that there was just enough of a fan base for when it came out to A, convince people to make the sequel to the 11th Hour, and B, allow a fan project called The 13th Doll to be made, which should be coming out fairly soon as of the time that this airs. And of course, it's probably been over a decade since the 11th Hour and the 7th Guest have been made, so the 13th Doll's graphics should look really good. The puzzles, the game design, the story should look very good. Decent chance the 13th Doll doesn't have any full motion video. It's kind of hard to justify doing full motion video in games ever nowadays. Even if you were a AAA game developer and say you were scanning in a actor, you scan their face and still make them animated instead of just filming things. We may have some weirdness. This was a Windows 95 app, and Night Dive Studios has re-released it and kind of just patched it. Unlike the 7th Guest, I don't think we are getting a different real version of the game, because the 7th Guest version got switched at some point to an iPad port, which was a little worse, and changed several things. And then that iPad port that changed things got ported back to Steam, which is unfortunate for people who want to relive their nostalgia. There's clearly some bugs here. A couple things I want to point out. We have a mouse cursor that seems to not want to go any higher, so you would think that the top point of the cursor might be at the very top of that finger, but then if that were the case, then the bottom point of this hand would not stop where it's stopping. So there seems to be just a giant square box that they're doing a custom cursor on. Also, README says nothing. So I'm hoping that's kind of the only glitch. As for changing setup, there's only one option, and when you can click on something you get this eyeball. This is from the first game. You're going into different menus and it's still playing the audio. Man, you can just leave it running, which is kind of weird because I saw that there was kind of a long video at the beginning of this game, so you probably wouldn't want to stay on the main menu after you've played the game once. But here I think we have it selected as high resolution at full motion video. I think that's what we're seeing as the option. But when we click this, it goes down to quarter resolution and it doesn't say it's full motion video. So I imagine the game probably had an option just not to play the full motion video because it might crash some computer back in the day. You have the making of the 11th hour, which you could potentially watch these, but almost certainly you're going to see some little bit of a puzzle. Spoiler. Henry Stauf is the toy maker. Here we can see several other actors being shown, and you can see several different cursors that might show up. I guess this is the logo to run into a puzzle. And just before we hit start, I want to point out this other song. So the song we started on was the second song that always plays. So it really does feel like there's a whole soundtrack here. This feels very much in line with games that potentially would have been designed to show off the power of computers. So it stays on a main menu as a attract screen to get people to walk up and look at the computers and play at the computers. And you've got audio here that is playing, and computers certainly back in the Windows 95 day would have been pushing their performance and highlighting their performance of playing CD music. And I suppose it is also worth mentioning that when you click on these videos, you do get a small screen. They don't scale up the image, the video, and we may see that in the game itself. That song, though, I Can't Take a Breath Without Saying Mr. Death, though, it is funny. It's actually quite comedic, considering this is something that was trying to be a little scary, I imagine, when it came out. It feels very ridiculous now, much in the way that I think a lot of people probably would falsely assume that the original Psycho movie wouldn't play well just because it would look dated and black and white, and people wouldn't give it the time of day. And the few scenes in which you do see Norman Bates's mother in the original Psycho movie, it is pretty silly what is depicted. I would vehemently disagree with that and challenge anybody who hasn't watched the original Psycho to actually build up the emotional energy to watch it all the way through and see if it still affects them. I think it pretty much would. Early video games aren't going to be that successful, certainly, and it's not like these actors were major actors or these writers were major writers. These were basically a theater crew, and they, I'm sure, will do their best, but it will probably feel very silly as a game. But let's go ahead and jump in and start playing. So yeah, Trilobyte's second game. Trilobyte's first game being 7th Guest. Not 16 by 9. Although it doesn't feel like it's 4 by 3 either. This is probably something close to a 640 by 480. And here we have the standard options here. To adjust your resolutions, and you can see, well, adjust your brightness. You can see this actually looks rather good. Like, sure, it's a little linear from here to here and not the smoothest of curve you could possibly have, but this looks like this is remastered graphics. We'll see how much of this looks like this and how much of this looks otherwise. I would probably suggest don't adjust your brightness any. Of course, you run into the problem of a puzzle game potentially becoming too dark and that becoming a problem. This guy has an X versus there being an I here. So it says brighten till 11 is just revealed, and or darken till it's not quite concealed. Choose the extra proceed to the devil's lair. Let the faint of heart and mind beware. So I see an I here as an 11. So if you had it a certain way, would you see another I? If anything, from that argument in this eye socket, it should say 11, and oh wait, no, X and 1 is 11. Wow, there's a little too much detail of things to look at to realize that. Alright, so here we go. Apparently there's a way to skip this cutscene. I wouldn't want to, but I could see people wanting to play this game a second time and not being happy about going through a long cutscene. That's why most games these days try to have at least a jump into action as they first start, and then go to a cutscene. Most movies do that also. I would say if these are the original graphics, this is a major improvement for what was going to be released a year later and got delayed to two years later. Oh.
State police have called off the intense search for producer Robin
This
Morales
video
of
looks
television's Case Unsolved.
high resolution
Morales was
with
researching
more
a
lines.
story about the famed haunted house in the small town of Harley on Hudson, the abandoned mansion of Henry Stauf. Police have expressed concern that Morales' disappearance
that guy actually does look like a famous actor
that have plagued the Hudson Valley this year. So far, 4 women and 3 men have been victims, fitting a pattern of homicide, and several others are missing. Robin Morales has been missing for more than 3 weeks and seems to have vanished without a trace. She's the producer for the very popular and flamboyant Case Unsolved reporter Carl Denning. Denning is said to have been in seclusion in his country home in Connecticut since Morales' disappearance. It's rumored that the two became romantically involved while working.
Yeah, this is interpolated, and it looks like you could probably fix this. And there's some new technologies coming out that could take a video like this and run it through computer or AI and actually make it look better than any like master footage or recording would ever look. Although it is possible that if this was recorded on film, depending on the quality of the film, that still might be better. And there's a lot of little devices like that back in the early 90s. But most of those devices wouldn't even be able to play audio, let alone video. They were like LCD dot matrix notebooks that would just hold your contacts and act as calculators, hold phone numbers and things like that. They were actually drastically expensive and not very useful because they weren't connecting to anything. They usually wouldn't even plug into a computer.
Help me.
I think if I was going to shoot this scene and write this scene, I would show a picture of him drinking his sorrows away. That could characterize the character better. And I would have the visions and the video appear on the TV after he turned it off. There's no reason to add in a new device unless that's going to be the device that we use in the game, and even at that point it's kind of unnecessary for that to be highlighted here. Here you can see a scene where he just wanted to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, don't get involved.
So yeah, you can tell there's a producer slash director that's thinking of cool shots instead of trying to. Was that girl the same girl as before? It's kind of even hard to tell. They probably should have said her name out loud a few more times. So here we are running into a risque scene. This will be interesting. If we get more than cleavage, that would be really weird. That wasn't in the seventh guest, for sure. Although I did notice that it seems like another character may have a little bit more cleavage showing. So yeah, they're trying to attract you on top of the menu attracting you, so maybe the menu didn't always play music.
I thought you liked me.
I just can't go on like this.
And so-
People, everyone's saying that I slept with you to become your producer.
So they're
Well, didn't
jumping ahead in time, and he's still wearing like
just
the
said
same
that.
leather jacket.
You of all people. I'm a good producer.
Robin, you are good at a lot of things.
I'm sorry.
I tell you what, Ms. Morales, I'll just see you in the office on Monday.
No, I'll be in Harley on Hudson next week.
Listen, forget it. Maybe if I'm lucky, you'll just become one of the missing people in Harley.
Don't say that. It scares me.
That's really
I already did.
really dumb line to say. But you can see there's audio production here. Like they're playing a lot of music. This is stuff that would not have been in the seventh guest. And they were really pushing it in the seventh guest, and now you can see they're really trying to push it. This feels like this could have easily been a mid-80s, early 90s TV show pitch or pilot that somehow then got turned into a video game when it didn't sell. And yeah, the interpolation in the dark screens looks way better. Yeah, I'm not seeing any lines, scan lines, or That was a little way too long to get to this point. But it does do one thing in the story to establish something that needed to be established. We're clearly going to play as this character, so they wanted to establish that this guy is a real guy. He's not a ghost, he's not ego, he's not going to turn out to be the Deus Ex Machina, as it were, that solved everything that was happening in the house because he was involved with everything that was happening in the house. I think he's going to pull out a gun. The Blind Mice is a good rap number.
3. Okay, 3.
I don't know if I would say 3 blind mice as it's originally written as a rap number. So this time he's pulling out a flashlight. Another thing that those little devices wouldn't have been able to do. But it kind of does seem like that is the hint system. So we are in some high resolution images. And it seems like we're getting told to go anywhere and everywhere. Well, the first place I went to before, wow, that is moving really fast. That may just be because of a computer element. We may have to try and slow things down using Control minus and Control plus. It doesn't seem too fast, but I feel like the game may not be working right. Here's something. So we found the puzzle. So what do we want to do? Seems like we can move the blacks and not the whites. So if I move that here, and then over 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 here, that goes in circles. If I go, like this one is the one that would be off. If I move that here, like that's kind of the only place it can go. So yeah, it moves, and then still not moving the other ones. Feels like I can move these two around fairly easily. But once you hit about here, I don't know what puzzle you're trying to solve. Let's go ahead and move this back this way. Yeah, they're kind of in the same pattern. And I think scientifically speaking... Oh, I see. I see. All of a sudden that worked. Scientifically speaking, I don't think you can make a piece on the white tiles move to the black tiles. Maybe you can do that with horses, but you can't do it with other things because it does seem like it's working fairly well with the horses. Or knights, as you would call them, if you wanted to use the right terminology. Sound is fairly loud. It'd be kind of nice if we could find some settings. Let's see what this does.
Quit horsing around.
So let's go ahead and save. Make a save. And we'll put it on that. And that seems like that's the only thing you can do.
Exchange the position of the white and black knights using standard knight moves.
See, well, I don't understand why the close button would have given me a hint. But, okay. Well, the audio decided to stop playing the rain sound, so maybe we are done with rain. You go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. I don't know how the black ones make it back. Because now this one can only really go back that direction. This one can really only go here. So I think this is probably in the wrong position first. But if I was to take this and put that there, and then kind of get this out of the way. Let's see. Over here. Oh, that just goes back. I guess that way. And I guess. Alright, well, let's put that here. They're kind of blocking each other is the problem, so we need to get this out of the way. Which then this one can't move. This one can't move. This one can't move. So it's like it has to go all the way back this way. Well, I put that there. Then that just moves it back that way. No, it doesn't feel like there's a real solution here. It must have something to do with this piece. I guess if we go back that direction. Can we go anywhere? No. So we've got to swap the two interior ones, I think, is what we've got to do. I think that probably gets us halfway there. And this will probably be the only puzzle we actually accomplish today. So now, what do we do? Because this one can't move. This one can't move. This one could move up here, but I don't think there's any changing of the puzzle whatsoever by playing that way. And it just locked the number of options. It didn't increase the number of options. So we go here. We go down here. We go down here. We go here. Okay. Where are the places this can go? See, like, the only place you can go that I haven't been really trying to go to is this location. which at this point it has only one place it can go, so I'm just probably getting it out of the way. If I was to guess, that would be what I think they're trying to shoot for here. So in theory that is completely out of the way. And then this can go here. And then that can go back. But that doesn't solve anything. So this would be in the way because it can only go this way. This way would be in the way because it can only go that way. So how can I get this to come one more step by getting rid of this? Okay. So we want that to go over there. And then put that down there. Okay. So now if I put this here, it would just go here. So I can just move this one. I can put that here or here, both of which would just put it there. I need it kind of here, where this one is. So the switch has to take place here. So if I do this and this, seems unnecessary to have a horse neighing and the music playing quite as often as it should be. And I did externally turn down the volume, but it seems like I'm gonna have to probably turn it down from usually I turn it down if I have to turn a game down to 10% of its max volume. I think I'm going down to 5% here. There's not a lot of wiggle room, and there's no volume option as far as I can tell in the app itself. I've often questioned though whether I maybe have the game volume a little too low. With the whole YouTube copyright thing, you kind of get forced into doing that even if you didn't want to. So that becomes another issue. This one won't move. This one could go back up here. But we need... See, this is where the swap needs to be. Is that we would need this back over here. And then we've got to figure out some way to get this one to go somewhere else. And yeah, it doesn't want to do that. Does not want to cooperate one bit. I guess that works. Okay. Still don't feel like we're getting anywhere. So I would want this one to be able to be where this one is, which I guess rotating them around might do something actually. Or have we just gone in circles and there's actually no solution here. Oh man. Boy, does this feel like you're just going in circles. We need this to go somewhere else. Which means we need this to go somewhere else. Which maybe means we need... Like, am I just slightly off the order here? Because I need these two to replace positions. So can I get these two to go in circles somehow? Yeah, that just takes us back. That just goes there. Is he going here? I don't think that changes much. Okay. If this could stay right there, and then I could somehow get one of these two pieces either here to here to here, just in any way whatsoever, would be amazing. I don't know how though. It feels like moving this should open something up, but it doesn't. And this can only go here. Well, wait, it can go two places. It could go here or here. This could go here or here. So we've kind of got these two pieces out of the way, but neither one of these pieces are movable. So now this one's movable back that way. Is this possibly a puzzle that you cannot solve at all if you mess it up? Is it possible that this is a puzzle that's just impossible to solve? See, I only wanted to do 30-minute episodes, and we're already up to 40 minutes doing just one puzzle. Is this mathematically impossible? Let's see. Let's look here.
Night.
Let's go with the map. We can see, we can go here in the library, and in the first game you could get hints in the library. It's gonna help.
Exchange the position of the white and black knights using standard knight moves.
No. Weird that the power button's like that. Yeah. This isn't doable. It can't be, can it? Because we have here a white knight that then goes to a black purple tile. And I guess that means it can do that. I guess knights can change colors. So that wouldn't immediately prove that it's undoable. I kind of feel like you were gonna find a tile piece though, and just adding a tile piece or moving a tile piece around would solve this puzzle. Whereas as it lies right now, it seems like it's at least unlikely that you would be able to get out of this.
Lot of intermarriage in your family, stupid?
No, making fun of you. And I guess you can just exit
I've
if you
seen
want.
bird dropping smarter than you.
Well, let's ignore that. I kind of like the idea here of a flashlight. I don't like that you can't right click and just actually control what you're looking at. And there, I think my mouse cursor just decided to completely fall apart. This was the door in the first game, and it had a whole spider puzzle.
Feeling mixed up?
Which seems like you can't exit. You would kind of think that this whole house would have fallen to pieces before this. And we're just walking in the blackness. So, like, originally, I think there was a stethoscope or something in the middle of the room, I can't remember what, that would give you hints. And you would have to run back to this room the whole time. Seems very weird, though, that you have the blue, like, thing happening here. That seems like a visual glitch. Interesting. What do we?
Winter coat, worn for a mixer.
So maybe that's a hint. Ah, okay. So that means you're getting a message. There's a problem, certainly, with having two monitors, so your mouse goes just off screen half the time to the right. There's a problem with wandering around this area that you know has some secret passages in, and you either are going to make the assumption that those secret passages are blocked off due to decay, or you're just going to have to assume that they're going to get reused. This game feels very much like it is supposed to be. Interesting. Is this a video?
Just sit anywhere, honey. Menus around the table.
Interesting. So we're going to get like memories and videos this way. And this is nice because this means you're not going to have to watch it from the first perspective. Of course, there's a rewind, fast forward, slow-mo backwards, and a stop button.
Rolling rock, bottle cap.
Okay, so I think we'll try and keep it fairly easy, and hopefully I don't have to walk into using a walkthrough too much, and we'll just see if we can do these puzzles without that. Like, if that one night puzzle is an example, though, we may very well need help. And I recall that the 7th guest puzzles often were a little too complicated. This game feels a lot like it was trying to be Myst. It runs into the main problem of it being a horror game, and horror fandom has always been a subset of general fandom. It probably always will be. Some people just don't like to be scared or touch anything that is even slightly scary. Some people don't like fantasy and fiction at all also, so that becomes another issue, certainly. And I would say, unlike the Myst game, you are getting insulted when you can't solve puzzles. You're getting shown things that are very clearly puzzles, where Myst worlds are more like diegetic, might be the right word there. That might be completely the wrong word, but the Myst universe felt like it was a natural universe that had puzzles in it that were not particularly just designed to be puzzles, just to feel like gameplay in what otherwise would just be a game with no gameplay. Anyways, we're gonna end the recording here. I don't want to go an hour, although we may start doing hour-long episodes. I end all my episodes the same way. I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you could friend me on Steam. And
Keep trying, Carl. You're getting closer.
Interesting, I just saved and I get an audio. Yeah, I was wrapping up. There's links to all my social media sites in the description, and if you want to support me, there's a Patreon link, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my gift card. Gift me a gift card or game off my wish list. Man, I am a mess. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.